Thank you for joining us once again on Asset Television News. I am Eugenia Solomon. First, the headlines. Jamb plans mop-up exams to accommodate absentee candidates. Borno State Governor Zulum fingers security agents on insecurity. Plus, a next to sun solar set to boost access to clean energy. The detail. Starting the news with education story, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board Jamb has disclosed plans to conduct a mop-up examination for candidates who were unable to sit for the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination (UTME) due to various reasons. The registrar of Jamb, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, who made the disclosure during a stakeholders meeting with chief external examiners, state technical advisors, and other key stakeholders in Abuja, also revealed that the pressure arising from technical glitches experienced during the UTME in parts of the Southeast and Lagos states almost led him to consider stepping down.
We had also taken decision immediately that all those who miss that examination for whatever reason, the 5-point-something% that or 6% that missed the examination, we will during mop-up. You know, we normally do annual mop-up throughout the country for those for one reason or the other. So we will package them with the mop-up. And it is for that reason we have also decided that even those who missed the earlier initial exam, who are absent, we will extend this opportunity to them to also receive.
Well, while reiterating his commitment to integrity and national duty, Oloyede dismissed any insinuations of bias in handling the crisis, as the Jamb boss criticized those questioning the swift rescheduling of the exam for affected candidates, explaining the tight academic calendar that UTME candidates must adhere to. Professor Oloyede described the incident as a profound emotional burden, emphasizing that his reaction stemmed from empathy, not an attempt to shift blame.
On the day that that thing happened, the day of the press conference, I was under intense pressure. The unfortunate case of a lady who was said to have committed suicide was painful for any parent, any normal parent, that, oh, somebody had committed a suicide. Then, unknown to many of you, I have, at that time when I was addressing the press conference, I thought many people had committed suicide. One is bad enough. When this happened, my first reaction is to resign and just say, but I thought people advised me that, look, the students will never forgive you because you will have abandoned at a time and everybody will say, oh, I will have been this. And even somebody that is not built to be anything would think I have contributed to his not being what he is. So I took up the responsibility. It was not easy at all.
Meanwhile, the chairman of the Chief External Examiners Group, Professor Vincent Tenebe, lauded Oloyede's leadership during the challenging period.
And when you are dealing with technologies, you don't work and expect that you will not get any hinge anywhere. So even during this situation, everybody on the platform, we have shown our support and solidarity to our colleague because we know his value and we know that he has shown exemplary leadership by owning up, even though it wasn't his fault or anybody's fault. And I want to use this opportunity once more to encourage all of us to come together to ensure that this country moves forward.
Well, this is the second time after the 2025 UTME, Jamb will be rescheduling exam for who were affected due to technical glitches. Now, moving over to economic matters, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory (FCT), Nyesom Wike, has earmarked part of the 1.78 trillion naira proposed 2025 FCT statutory budget for the completion of 14 ongoing roads projects across the territory. Wike disclosed this in Abuja when he appeared before the Senate and House of Representative committees on FCT to defend the 2025 FCT proposed budget. He explained that out of the 1.78 trillion naira, 1.28 trillion naira was earmarked for capital projects, representing 72.3%, while 494.1 billion naira was set aside as recurrent expenditure, representing 27.7%. He explained that road projects sited both in the city center and satellite towns would be handled by the Federal Capital Development Authority (FCDA) and the Satellite Towns Development Department (STDD). The minister explained that a total of 801.5 billion naira was allocated to the FCDA, while 173 billion naira was allocated to the STDD for execution of capital projects. He identified some of the projects as the completion of roads B6 and B12 and full scope development of arterial roads 20N from Northern Parkway to Outer Northern Expressway Onyx. Also penciled for competition is the provision of engineering infrastructure to Guzape districts, provision of engineering infrastructure to Uye district, and provision of engineering infrastructure to Maitama 2 district. To security matters now, worried by renewed attacks by Boko Haram fighters in communities in the northeast, the Senate has called on the federal government to establish a military base in Hong local government area of Adamawa State. The Senate in plenary also called on the National Emergency Management Agency (NEMA) to provide relief materials to all those affected by the recurring attacks of the insurgents. These resolutions were reached after a debate on a motion sponsored by Senator representing Adamawa Central, Aminu Abbas, and his colleagues from the northeast. In his lead debate, Senator Abbas decried renewed attacks in communities in Adamawa State, saying the insurgents in the last few weeks have been on a killing spree, make the localities inhabitable.
The incidents of Boko Haram
After the debate,
attacks on communities in Hong local government left thousands of innocent people homeless and displaced. Further note that the frequent attack directly affects the following communities, among others. On February 25th, 2025, in Kobre and Za were attacked. The whole towns were burned down, schools destroyed, and many people injured. On the 15th of April 2025, communities of Banga and Lar were attacked. 5 people were killed. Houses, schools, and churches were burned down. On 26th of April 2025, corporate community was attacked. 11 vigilante members were slaughtered. And senators should note that those vigilantes came to support the community all the way from Hau local government, Borno State. They were slaughtered on that day. On the 16th of May 2025, Kulda community in Garhawot of Hong local government was attacked. 16 people were killed. 90% of the houses, including place of worship, were burned down. On the same day, the community was also attacked in Gayawot in Hong local government. 6 people were killed. the entire town was burned down. And the church also note that the neighboring local government of Gombe has as well been under Boko Haram attacks since on 17th of January 2025. 5 people were killed on the 2 attacks on the local government. Senators, you are aware that the resurgence of Boko Haram activities cut across the northeastern states of Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa. Worried that the unfortunate activities of Boko Haram affect the economic activities of the affected areas, and most of the local government now reside within the local government headquarters. By extension, the whole region and the country at large, people in the affected areas no longer go to farms and normal trading activity. Disturbed that if no proactive action taken, the Boko Haram insurgency is capable of spreading to wider communities in the north and beyond.
There is a resurgence of the Boko Haram insurgency to the extent that they attack our military formations, dislodge them, and cut away military equipment. For example, last week, a military base in one of my local governments of Marte was attacked, and about 5 soldiers were killed. And they burned all the government lodge, the police station, and what have you. And just 2 days ago, Boko Haram went to one of my local governments of Kukawa and Baga in particular. In one of the communities, they massacred 23 people. And in another community, they went and massacred 40 people. And the main reason why they did that is that there is faction between the two, between Boko Haram. There is the ISWAF and there is Boko Haram. So the two communities, according to them, they allegedly gave their allegiance to one of the factions of the Boko Haram by way of paying taxes to one of the factions. So the other faction came to these two communities and queried them as to why they should pay allegiance to the other faction and then massacred them. So there is a resurgence in the activities of Boko Haram. And the main reason why there is this resurgence is when we are able to achieve relative peace in the northeast, and as a result of the avalanche of banditry and other security concerns across the nooks and crannies of the country.
Well, after the debate, a president of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, expressed worry over the country's porous borders, which makes it easy for the insurgents to gain access, infiltrate, and then attack innocent Nigerians. He also noted that the situation is bad, that some communities in the zone have resorted to paying allegiance to the terrorists for their safety.
Quite unfortunately, a lot of lives were lost, and people are still losing their lives. And from what they are saying, it looks like some communities are still paying allegiance to one faction or the other of the Boko Haram. So the prayer one, while commending the brilliant performance of the law enforcement agents, we urge for the establishment of a military base in Hong local government area to ensure reinforcement to the existing personnel of the Nigerian Army and also other security agencies. Those in support of prayer one say aye. Those against prayer one say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer two, direct NEMA to provide relief materials to cushion the effects of the attacks on the affected communities or the survivors. Those in support of prayer two say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Any additional prayer?
Well, meanwhile, Governor Babagana Zulum of Borno State has accused some military officers and politicians of being informants and collaborators for Boko Haram terrorists. Speaking in an interview on a television show, Zulum vowed to deal ruthlessly with saboteurs in frustrating the efforts of his administration in tackling insurgency in the state. The governor also said his administration would strengthen its intelligence network to overcome terrorists and their saboteurs. While criticizing the lack of equipment for the military, he accused insurgents of having a superior technological advantage. The governor, however, commended the Nigerian military's role in supporting peace-building efforts. He urged President Bola Tinubu to pay attention to ground-level intelligence and professional advice from the military. While still in the news, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (ICPC) says they have intensified moves to recover assets outside Africa that are perceived to be proceeds of crime. Chairman of ICPC, Dr. Musa Aliyu, said this in Abuja at a one-day stakeholders engagement on the assessment of Nigeria's assets recovery regime. The event was organized by the Center for Fiscal Transparency and Public Integrity, civil society organization CSO, and supported by Intergovernmental Action Group Against Money Laundering in West Africa. Aliyu said that asset recovery cannot be limited to localities, as it had also become an international issue. He called on the various anti-corruption agencies to synergize to fight the menace. The Ministry of Housing and Urban Development has announced plans to commence immense structural integrity technical assessment on 753 duplexes recovered from the former Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele. The Housing Minister, Ahmed Bengiwa, revealed the plan during a joint physical inspection of the confiscated housing estate alongside the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ola Olu Koede. The EFCC chairman had officially handed over the 753 housing units located at Plot 109 Cadastral Zone, Lukogoma District, Abuja, to the Housing Ministry on Tuesday. According to a statement by the ministry's Press and Public Relations Officer, Salisu Haiba, Bengiwa said the seizure demonstrated the seriousness of President Bola Tinubu's administration in fighting corruption. A quick break. When we return, Asset Television News will continue. Stay with us. Well, thank you for being there. If you are just joining us, you are watching the news on Asset Television. Now to energy sector. Next to Sun Nigeria Limited, a fast-rising alternative energy company headquartered in Uromi, Edo State, has announced a strategic partnership with Path Fast Energy, a leading Italian renewable energy provider specializing in solar power solutions. This international collaboration is set to significantly boost Nigeria's access to clean, affordable, and reliable energy. The partnership brings together Next to Sun's local market knowledge and distribution capacities with Path Fast Energy world-class solar technologies and engineering expertise. Speaking on the partnership, Francis Onabis, founder and CEO of Next to Sun Nigeria Limited, informed that the partnership will be a game changer, and the goal of the company is to deliver 50 megawatts of solar power to Nigeria within the first year, targeting communities and commercial sectors. This partnership, according to Onabis, aims to address the gap by deploying high-quality solar home systems and commercial installations across the country. The collaboration will also see the establishment of localized assembly and service hubs, creating jobs empowering local technicians and contributing to the broader economic development of Nigeria. And now to politics. The state chairman of the Labour Party, LP, in the North Central geopolitical zone of the country have vowed to continue to give maximum support to the national chairman of the party, Julius Abure, in spite of the numerous political challenges he is currently facing. The LP chairman also condemned the recent actions by the party's 2023 presidential candidate, Peter Obi, and the governor of Abia State, Alex Oti, who they are accused of trying to cause confusion in the party for selfish reasons. The Nasarawa State chairman of the Labour Party, Alexander Umbungo, who spoke for the North Central chairman, disclosed this while speaking with journalists in Lafia, the state capital. According to him, Abure was duly elected during the March 2024 Newi National Convention for the party and therefore will continue to get the full support of the North Central chairman until the expiration of his tenure. President Bola Tinubu extends heartfelt felicitations to two British Nigerians, Okpeyemi Bright and Jason Jackson, on their historic election and inauguration as mayors in London. The president commends Bright and Jackson for sustaining the legacy of good works by Nigerians in the diaspora and consistently promoting the values of honesty, integrity, hard work, and commitment to the well-being of others. Their stories, he says, will inspire countless young people, both at home and in the diaspora, to pursue excellence and serve their communities with distinction. Okpeyemi Bright was sworn in as the civic mayor of Barking and Dagenham, making history as the borough's youngest ever mayor at just 29, following 7 years of outstanding service to her community. Jason Jackson has also become the first Nigerian-born mayor of Islington since the borough's establishment in 1900, following a rapid rise through local government as a councillor and committee chair. Before becoming mayor, Okpeyemi Bright was the borough's youngest Labour councillor at 22, a feat she achieved in 2018. Jason was first elected as the councillor in 2022 and became chair of Islington Homes and Communities Committee in 2023. The Ekiti state government has issued a 21-day ultimatum to the kingmakers of Okeako community in Ikole local government area to commence the process of selecting and installing a new monarch following a 25-year vacancy on the Owa of Okeako throne. This directive was made known in a statement by the Special Assistant on Media to the Deputy Governor, Victor Ogunje. It followed a meeting between the Deputy Governor, Monishade Afuye, and stakeholders from the community in her office in Ado-Ekiti. Afuye expressed the government's displeasure at the prolonged leadership vacuum, emphasizing that it was time to move forward. She announced that only two branches, Okeafin and Odoafin, of the Afin ruling house would be eligible to present candidates for the throne. The third arm, Afata, was excluded on the grounds that it had previously produced the last monarch. Well, with that story, we end the news. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms for more updates and programs. On behalf of the entire news crew, I am Eugenia Solomon. Thank you for watching.